Building codes exist for the safety of the people who occupy those buildings. It's so much easier to just visit us first, get all the information you're going to need beforehand. I think the one that probably has the most amount of impact on people is when they start building before they see us.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of REI-NWA. This is episode 34, and I'm your host, Coley Bailey, now principal broker at Lone Rock Realty. I'm excited about that. We just got started. And today, I've got Mr. Yarno. Thank you.
How you doing, sir?
Doing well.
Good to see you.
Doing well. Yeah, good to see you. Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And everybody, this is Fire Marshall Yarno. You are with Benton County?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So he's here today to talk to us about building codes, really in the unincorporated county area,
Yes.
so not
Yes.
the cities. But we have so many different municipalities and governing bodies that when you're building or you're even flipping houses, investing, you need to be aware of all the different jurisdictions that you might fall within for that particular project. Yeah, we have 39 municipalities here in Northwest Arkansas.
That's quite a few.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's spread over 2 counties, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and to all be classified as one metropolitan statistical area.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how they all are starting to grow together as well. But
It's a great area to be in. I'm really grateful to be here.
yeah. Well, okay, so before we get too deep into
Sure.
the fire codes, the building codes, all this good stuff, talk to us a little bit about, who you are, where you come from, how'd you get here, and what are you doing?
Yeah, I've been in Northwest Arkansas for a little over 5 years. Moved here from Southern California. I previously was a firefighter in San Bernardino County for 20 years. Moved to Northwest Arkansas, was fortunate enough to get on with Benton County as the assistant fire marshal, and then eventually fire marshal.
I got to ask, what brought you to Northwest Arkansas?
It's an amazing area. So we were looking to kind of get out of California, looking for somewhere different to be. We're looking at places all over the country, kind of still gravitating towards the south, and just happened to discover some tidbits about Northwest Arkansas and started digging in. And it discovered all the amazing things that are happening here.
Yeah.
It's really on a track of growth. I have 3 kids. 2 of them are adults now, but it seemed to have something for everyone.
It really does.
And we really like the outdoor lifestyle. We came and visited in 2018, just immediately fell in love with the place, fell in love with the people, just the whole vibe of it all. It's gorgeous. And we decided right there and then we were going to move here. Cool. And we did, yeah.
What's your favorite outdoor activity here so far?
Well, like a lot of people, mountain biking.
All right.
It was a huge draw for me.
Yeah.
I've been riding for a long time, and when I discovered all the trails that were here, it was kind of a home run from there.
Yeah, me too. I grew up racing BMX bikes and dirt bikes and stuff and got into the mountain biking as soon as it started taking off here. And so we'll have to go ride sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we live in like the Disneyland of mountain biking.
Yeah. We could talk about that. We could have a whole podcast on that.
That's another podcast, right? Yeah.
Right. But okay, so let's talk a little bit about the building codes that people need to be aware of when they start building here in Benton County. First of all, let's talk about what are the codes, what are building codes, and why are they implemented?
Building codes exist for the safety of the people who occupy those buildings, right? So they apply to every type of structure that's built that people are going to occupy. Building codes started a long time ago, and they've evolved, of course. And now you have the International Code Council that is a large group that reviews the codes. They don't publish annually, but they are continually looking at the codes and ways to revise them. There's constantly new techniques of building, new materials that get introduced, and so codes are constantly under revision. Benton County has been enforcing codes since 2006. Most currently on the 2021 Arkansas Fire Prevention Code. That's the main section of building code.
Okay.
There's other codes, and I brought a little reference here that kind of excited about this because this is going to be an amazing reference to folks who want to build in the unincorporated areas of Benton County. But there's also the we have the electrical code, mechanical code, plumbing code, and energy code. So those are all codes that people need to be aware of when building in Benton County.
Yeah. Okay. And so you guys sort of oversee all of those different codes and the inspections for that?
So, I'm the director over building safety for Benton County government. There we provide permitting and inspections for any building that's happening in Benton County that meets the criteria for a permit.
Okay. And so let's talk a little bit about how people can find those codes. How
Sure.
how do they get access to that?
Sure.
stuff?
Go onto the Benton County website and look for building safety, and you'll find us. On our homepage, you'll see a list of items on the left-hand side. Right in the middle of the screen, you're going to see 6 dark blue cards, and you're going to be able to do anything you need to do from finding the proper permit application, filling it out, and submitting it all online. We have a citizen portal that you can go into, and you can actually fill out your application there and submit it, or you can actually find a PDF version, print it out, fill it out, and submit it through our either back into our portal by scanning it, or you can email it to permits@bentoncountyar.gov, or you can come and visit us. We're in downtown at 215 downtown Bentonville.
Okay.
At 215 East Central Avenue in the Benton County Admin Building. You kind of asked, like, how do they get all this information? Well, our website is really extensive. If anybody needs to know anything about our inspection process, it's there on our website.
Yeah, obviously, this is important when people are building, from the ground up. What about if you are, doing a fix and flip? You got an older home, you're remodeling. What do investors need to know about complying with modern codes with older properties?
They need to know that a lot of times for a remodel, if you're going to be moving walls or changing the layout of the structure, changing the electrical, the plumbing, then you do need a permit. If you're just painting, changing the colors of things, absolutely no permit is necessary. Putting a new roof on it, no permit necessary. But like I said, if you're changing the structure at all, you're going to need to get a permit through Benton County. And
so mostly safety issues, right? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're really interested. That's what the building codes. That's the heart of building codes, right? Is to make sure buildings are safe.
Yeah.
And that's what we're interested in, is helping you navigate the codes to meet the to meet the compliance with the codes and have the safest building. It's really it's a minimum standard. So have a safe building by the standards that are adopted by the state.
So these are state laws that must be complied with.
Yeah, absolutely. The Arkansas Fire Prevention Code is state law, so following it really isn't optional.
Yep.
But I know not every county in Arkansas, requires permitting and code compliance. But it is incumbent upon anyone who builds anything in the state of Arkansas to comply with those codes, whether they're being permitted and inspected or not.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you were telling me. I was telling you we've got 34. You're episode 34 of our
awesome.
podcast,
Yeah.
and so we've been putting some content out. It's been fun.
Yeah.
You've got some content that you're going to be putting out on
Absolutely.
the website.
So we've been kind of on a campaign since last year. We started to really evaluate how we do things in Benton County, building safety, and how we can better serve the public and be more customer service oriented, right? Following the codes is not always an easy thing to do, and it can be a very burdensome, confusing process and frustrating for a lot of people.
Right.
A lot of negative perception regarding a permitting and inspection process through any entity.
Right.
And probably well earned, right? I think there's a lot of people who have had negative experiences. I'm really hoping we can change that. It's going to be a tough process, but some things we've implemented, like I said, an improvement on our website. One thing we're excited to be publishing pretty soon is the Benton County Safety Guidebook, Building Safety Guidebook.
Hold that up a little bit more.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right there.
Yep.
So this is going to go onto our website soon. And if you need to have a physical copy, you can come visit us and get one of those. Not yet. We haven't sent it to a publisher yet, but we're going to. But you can, very soon, you'll be able to download this off our website or just peruse it on our website. This has everything mostly targeted towards an owner builder or maybe an investor builder that isn't a professional builder.
Right.
But this also has useful information for contractors as well.
Okay.
And this is going to be a living document. We're going to add to it, update it as needed. So we've got the website that we've improved. We've got the Building Safety Guidebook that we're going to be putting out. We've added a kiosk to our front office area that when you come visit us, it's this really big like Android screen. It's all touch screen.
Okay.
And our staff there will help you navigate that. So if you've been kind of taken a whole bunch of time to come across the county to visit us, or maybe you're a little gun shy on getting on our website and maybe not trusting our process completely through the internet, we're going to help you see that it's actually very trustworthy, really easy to navigate, and so convenient. You're not going to waste your time driving all the way across the county to come visit us. Now, you can if you want to. We'd love to see you.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to find ways to make our process easier and more convenient for the public.
Yeah, that's great. That's really, really important.
It is.
What are some of those code violations that you see kind of time and time again that people are, I didn't think of that, or I wasn't aware we were building it that way, or
yeah, I think the one that's probably has the most amount of impact on people is when they start building before they see us, and they don't get a permit first. They don't start with the plan review process,
Right.
and so somebody somewhere says, "Hey, they're building without a permit," and then we've got to reach out to you, and then then you come visit us and find out, well, your project's already started, and there's things about your project that we never got to look at, right? So it's so much easier to just visit us first, get all the information you're going to need beforehand, and then we'll help you navigate that whole code process, that code compliant process from the get-go, rather than having to go back and try to confirm whether or not what you've already built meets the code.
Yeah.
That's far more difficult to do. So I think that's probably the biggest headache that we see people go through. And I hate it when I see people go through that.
Right.
Because it just costs them more time and money, and I hate that for them.
So how much time should people budget in their schedules, in their production schedule? How much time should they budget for these permits to be submitted and reviewed?
Our process through the
accepted?
building safety is pretty quick. If you come to us and you complete your application and you're able to submit all the required documents, that process is 5 to 10 business days for a plan review and approval. You'll get an email stating that your plans have been approved, pay your fee, and you'll get a permit. Issues when we're waiting on different submittals from the applicant. That's where kind of things get slowed down a little bit, because sometimes you'll need something from the state. Sometimes you need to get planning approval first before you can complete our process.
And sometimes people don't realize the difference between those two, whether it's city planning or county planning or whatever. Yes,
that's a very good point, because there is a county planning department. It's separate than our department, and they have their own process that you should go through. Now, if you're dealing with anything that may be out of the ordinary with them, such as property, boundaries or road setbacks, maybe there's some type of easement across your property, that all needs to be hashed out with the planning department before we can issue your permit.
Right.
Also, in the county, I'm sure you're aware of, some of the cities have the extraterritorial jurisdiction. So then you may be in the county, but you're maybe in Bentonville's planning area.
Right.
That's got to be hashed out first.
Yeah.
But as far as just the building safety process, ours is pretty streamlined, but it's not the only process that you'll be going through.
Okay, so one of the questions that had gotten submitted was about variances. And so a lot of times when people are dealing with city planning or things like that, this word variances comes up. When it comes to the codes, tell me how many variances there are.
Well, unfortunately, we can't really grant variances when it comes to the building code. Like you mentioned earlier, it's state law. And it's really hard to get around a state law, right? You're not going to be able to get a law enforcement officer to give you a variance to break the law.
Right.
So unfortunately, it's the same thing for us. Although sometimes I really want to help you find a way around something, I can't just let you not meet the code. So in anything that any building that's happening, it has to meet the intent of the code. So it doesn't necessarily always have to meet the code the way it's described in the code book, and if you've ever seen the code books, it's a huge stack of books. But we do need to ensure that you're meeting the intent of the code. And sometimes there are other ways of doing that. Sometimes getting an engineer involved to create another design that meets the code is a good way to go about that. There are provisions for alternative methods and alternative materials. Sometimes we'll get someone to approaching us saying, "Hey, I found an old barn up in Michigan, and it's got these beautiful beams and posts and stuff. We want to tear it down and come down here and use it as a building," and so there's a way to do that. It's very unconventional, but there is a way to get that done. So we're not so stringent that you can't be creative.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We love creativity. I love it.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Well, I think there's a lot to dig into at your program coming up. Let me just tell everyone about that.
Sure.
That's going to be our Builders Circle meeting. It's one of my favorite ones every month that we have. This one's going to be June 4th in Rogers at the Golden Corral. And again, this is Fire Marshall Yarno, and he's going to update us on the building codes, the new codes that are, relevant. And definitely come out and network and mingle. As always, $0 at the door if you are an REI-NWA member, $20 if you're not. Sorry. But it's worth going ahead and getting that membership, because not only do you get 4 in-person networking meetings every single month, but you have years of backlogged information from previous programs that we've videotaped and recorded. They're all on the website in the back end that you can get access to if you are an REI-NWA member. So, with that said, this is a great show.
Yeah, I enjoy your show. This is a good show.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
Good job.
I think there's a lot of good information that you're going to be able to share with our audience coming up.
I'm excited of all these. I'm excited about what we're doing there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate your time having me here.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.